It's a windy Sunday exhibition here for the Clayton Clovers. There is some rain in the forecast. Just as a forewarning, if the rain comes in, the broadcast will continue. The scoreboard will not be able to, though, as limits to technology and the weather outside. If need be, though, we will switch into radio-style broadcasting, and you will still have all the information you need. You will not have to go anywhere. Will, what do you feel about today?
Your attention, please.
I feel like it's a great opportunity for the Clovers to do some experimentation, build some chemistry, and see how some players that haven't been able to get a whole lot of playing time, see how they do in game experience.
Absolutely. I mean, this game does not count towards league play, and as such, both teams have agreed to bat with 10 batters, which is kind of a fun thing to see. Get that extra batter in the lineup for both sides so that they can get that extra experience. Somebody can get a little extra hitting time, and the ability for these players to build some chemistry with each other, get things going, possibly build some momentum as we continue to league play. This game isn't necessarily worthless, but it's a great chance to experiment, as you said.
Definitely. Sometimes when you're trying to get into a hitting streak, you just want to see some pitches. And if you haven't been getting playing time, this is your time to get it.
Absolutely. So on the mound for the Clovers will be number 12, Seth Bullock. We've seen him quite a few times. He's had himself a pretty good career so far here in Clayton. Excited to see how he takes on this exhibition. For Wake Forest, it'll be Jason Arendt who will be leading off. For your Clovers defense from left to right in the outfield, you've got Zach Lyon, you've got Isaiah Thomas, and Garrett Moffitt. Good to see Zach Lyon come back to the lineup here. Hasn't been playing these last few games. That ball is fouled off towards the left side. I'll tell you what, the outfield was certainly a strength of the Clovers win last night.
Absolutely. They were excellent last night.
They were not letting anything fall. Excellent coverage. Now Seth Bullock works up for his second strike. The infield for you today. On first base will be Jalen Lee. Second base, Davey Morgan. Caleb Carey over on third. And Zach Sotolsky on shortstop as that is popped up into the air.
Caleb Carey.
And Caleb Carey calls for it. He makes the catch, and that's going to be out number one.
Here in Clayton, North Carolina, by way of Brunswick Community College, sophomore.
Your 10th hitter for the night will be Tyler Manassi, and then Mike Snyder will be the designated hitter. It's now Evan Harding up for Wake Forest. As they will work up a 1-1 count here early on. If you can see the American flag way out in outfield, the wind certainly is blowing today. Part of that cold front moving in. Get to use some of that meteorology knowledge I've studied for so long.
I was just going to say, John, you were looking for any excuse to use your meteorology knowledge.
I mean, absolutely. When you spend 4 years studying something like meteorology and you end up in sports broadcasting instead, it's a surprisingly useful secondary tool. They'll take a swing at that one, and it's going to drift just fair on the first baseline. Jackson Dunlap will tag that up. 2 up, 2 down.
From Mount Airy, by way of University of Virginia Wise, Jr. Third baseman number 2, Nick Badgett.
So now number 2, Nick Badgett, steps up. He will be the third baseman here tonight. First pitch is just early in the dirt for ball number 1. Pitching was another strength of the Clovers last night. We started with freshman Hugh Collins, who absolutely dotted up the strike zone as that's hit way out into left field. That's going to carry, and that's going to be gone. That is a single 2-out home run now for Nick Badgett. You know, I did not think that was going to go the distance, but it's going to show this wind. He hit it right into the wind. So when you have that wind to the back of your ball, it can do some decent carrying.
I definitely think that helped, John.
Definitely helped. Could be the night to see the Clovers' first home run at home, which we're still waiting for. Exhibition play or not, I think Clovers fans will be overjoyed to see that happen. So now comes up the extra hitter, Jackson Rutecki. Works up a 1-out count. And there it is for strike 1. I tell you, Seth Bullock has been great so far tonight. I mean, we're still in the first inning, but just because he finds himself down in the count, he does not let that faze him so far. And a hard swing and a miss there, and the Clovers are going to wrap up the top of the first here. Clovers find themselves down 1-0 early. Now they have a chance to bounce back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
1-0.
The wind continues to pick up here at East Clayton Community Park. We've got paperweights on just about everything you can imagine, but the Clovers are now first up to bat here. Clovers batting lineup tonight. Isaiah Thomas will be leading off, followed by Garrett Moffitt. Switch numbers to number 1 now. Then Mike Snyder, Davey Morgan, Jalen Lee, Zach Zatolski, Tyler Manessi will be our extra hitter for the night, followed by Zach Lyon. Caleb Carey and Luke Bowen will close things out on the mound for Wake Forest. Number 30, Cole Bolton. Coaches are starting to make their way to their respective bases. We're about set to start off here. Now, Isaiah Thomas led off yesterday. Had himself a pretty decent night.
He did. And
leading off the bottom of the first for your Clovers. He's from Troy, North Carolina.
For Clayton, you really want to see
junior number 3,
bats
Isaiah
get going.
Thomas.
You know, we saw, I believe, 1 RBI last night.
Indeed.
Hope to see some more today.
Now, Isaiah Thomas reached base 4 out of 5 times yesterday. One of them was a hit, 2 drawing walks, and then a hit by pitch. He'll show bunt right off the bat, which is a interesting strategy here to lead off. But ball right down the middle for strike 1.
We did see that quite a bit last night.
We did. We also saw the Clovers switch to a little more traditional baseball, I think you say, with sacrifices to advance runners, anything to get a run. I mean, last night was 2 teams in losing streaks, so looking to get back in the win column. The Clovers, in the end, wanted it more, and they walked away with the win. And Thomas will hit that one into play. Past the third baseman. That'll be a leadoff single for Isaiah Thomas.
That's a leadoff single, Isaiah Thomas.
And that's what you want to see.
From Cary, North Carolina, with the NC State Wolfpack redshirt freshman
Absolutely.
number 1,
Starting
Garrett
off with
Moffitt.
some hits here is just essential. Now, Garrett Moffitt steps up, redshirt freshman out of NC State. Switched from numbers 10 to 1 permanently for the season. He switched with Tyler Manesi, who is now number 10. Moffitt was also a huge part of last night's win. You can tune in to the post-game interview on all of the Clayton Clovers social medias, where we interviewed Garrett Moffitt. Talked about his 3-for-4 night. He mentioned how he's been in a bit of a hitting slump, so last night definitely helped with his confidence. And we're going to see that here as he's going to hit that right down the second base line. Now runners on first and second for Isaiah Thomas. 2 straight singles now for the Clovers.
Brings to the plate your
Really
designated
good
hitter
start.
from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Hitting-wise for the
By way of
team.
Indiana Tech,
Absolutely.
senior number
Now,
5, Mike Snyder.
Mike Snyder stepping up. Unofficial nickname Big Mike. You may look at Snyder here and think Big Mike for his size, or rather he got the nickname from his big plays and big moments. Only felt right to be Big Mike. And he'll hit that one right to the third baseman. A leaping grab. They'll tag to get Isaiah Thomas out.
For out number 1.
So Thomas force out at third. Runners stay at first and
That brings to the
second.
plate.
Mike Snyder reaches on
The new
a
Wesley and
fielder's
battling
choice.
Bishop from Dunn, North Carolina, second baseman, and a junior number 2, Davey Morgan.
So now comes up the captain, Davey Morgan, second baseman for the Clovers. Clovers are still very early in their history, just their second season ever, but Davey Morgan has already etched his name into the history books.
There was an early, I guess, Ring of Honor. Is that in baseball?
I would say so.
He would be in it.
Absolutely. I mean, last season with the Clovers, he hit 14 home runs. As that one gets past the third baseman, Garrett Moffitt is absolutely booking it to home. He'll make it. Moffitt scores. Davey Morgan gets an RBI single.
And that's another run sponsored by KS Bank. Offering a
So
variety of
Clovers
rates.
tie it up here in the bottom of the
Every
first.
stage of life, it's KS
Only
Bank.
one out on the board, still runners on first and second, and it's now time now for number 36, Jalen Lee.
Brings to the plate first baseman from Smithfield by way of Mid-Atlantic Christian, junior number 36, Jalen Lee.
So 3 hits out of these first 4 batters, and Mike Snyder still reaching on a fielder's choice. The bats are connecting early here.
It's exactly what you want to see if you're a Clovers fan.
And that one's going to get hit right to the pitcher. They'll turn around and try and get Davey Morgan out at
Number
second.
4 said second. We're out number
They
2.
will get the out at second. They throw down for Mike Snyder at third to no avail. Now
Runners
2
on the
outs
button
on
for
the
2 outs for
board
the
and
shortstop
runners
from
are on
Raleigh,
the
North
corner.
Carolina by way of the University of Mount Olive. Junior number 6, Zach Soltuski.
Now the shortstop, Zach Zotolski, gets his chance. Last night was certainly as far from a normal game as you can imagine. And tonight's already looking like a bit of a bizarre game with 3 hits and 2 fielders' choice already for the Clovers offense.
Yes, last night was definitely the weird defensive game. This looks like it's going to be the weird offensive game.
Everybody clap your hands. Come on, y'all.
But,
Everybody clap.
not too much weirdness in terms of play. The hits have been fairly normal hits.
Absolutely. Runner's going to take off. Jalen Lee goes for second as that ball. They'll tag Mike Snyder
Got it home for
out at home.
number 3 in the bottom of the first. 1
So
run.
that's
off
going to wrap
3
up
hits.
the bottom of the first.
No walks,
Game's
no
all tied
errors.
up 1-1.
2
We're
left
going to
on.
the top of the second. Don't
We're
go
going
anywhere.
one
You are
side.
watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park
Leading
here.
off, the catcher. from Wake
Clovers
Forest by
take
way
the
of Gulf
field.
Coast
They
State
tied up the
College.
game in the bottom of the first.
Number 11, Alex
Off of
Ipazamato.
3 hits, and then the 3 outs came from all fielders' choices. Seth Bullock takes the mound for his second inning of work, and he'll face off against the catcher, Alex Imposimoto.
Seems to be some confusion in the Clovers dugout as they're having a conversation with the umpires.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what this is about. Perhaps has something to do with, I'm not sure. Looks like they were just looking for a drink of water off of.
I was going to say, we have all 9 fielders out there. Oh, is it an equipment problem?
It might be. The weather has certainly been very
Again, fans,
shifty
don't forget 50-50
throughout the
raffle
day.
going on tonight. The beautiful and talented
I
Lauren
think
making
it's
her
an
way around the
equipment problem,
ballpark.
John, because we saw the home plate
Selling
umpire
tickets again,
take
1 for
off
$1,
his
7 for
shirt,
$5, or a whole
and
on 10 for 10.
then
Again, you can't win if you
protective
don't
padding.
play. Get your
and he's
50-50
still having a
raffle
conversation
ticket.
about it with the equipment staff of the Clovers.
Umpire's not sitting down. I wonder if he's doing okay.
Yeah, it might be a health issue. Yeah.
He seems to be talking and doing okay. We'll keep you updated on how that's going.
Little break in the action here. One of our umpires having a little difficulty here tonight again. Safety is number 1 here at the old ballpark.
Seth Bullock is staying warm by playing catch with some of his infielders.
Sit back, enjoy. Again, it's beach music.
The Wake
Sunday,
Forest
as
batters
always,
will
here
make
at the
their
old
way back
ballpark.
to their dugout.
Little beach music.
It was definitely a hot day to begin today. Sun was beating down. I know personally, I went through 3 full water bottles just by the time we got to the park to now.
Yes, and if you're an umpire, especially standing behind home plate, you've got the first shirt, the protective padding, and then another shirt.
Absolutely. So sometimes that heat can really get to you.
Good time to head by our Clovers shifts.
Especially as summer weather moves in here to North Carolina. It's been rather cool the last few weeks and sudden changes. Although not to bring weather back into this, as this rain starts to move across the state, would not be surprised to see some slightly cooler temperatures over the next few
I think we got
days.
some Papa John's pizza, if I'm not mistaken.
So with this being an exhibition, one of the things we were talking about, building momentum, continuing on into league play, Clovers got themselves a massive win over the Pineville Porcupines last night. After today's game, they've got a day off. Tuesday, they travel down to Walker Stadium. They face off against the Lenore Legends, a Western Division team here in the Old North State League. Another chance for the Clovers to start building their way back up the leaderboards.
Yes, and if there's a win here today, even though it's exhibition, and you get a win against the Legends, you got a little bit of a streak going. So
Absolutely. And I mean, as we said, momentum doesn't care if it's an exhibition game or not. Slumps don't care. So if you get out of some slumps, build some streaks, and you got yourself a win streak, hopefully. Now, Lenore Legends are 1-6 on the season so far. Their last game was June 8th against the Fayetteville Shoots, where they lost 10-8. They actually play tonight. They should be playing right now against the Swamp Foxes. Looks like it is at the Swamp Foxes. Following the Legends, the next league play they'll have will be on June 15th. They'll return back here to East Clayton Community Park on Thursday, where they will face the Brunswick Surf and Turfs, a division rival.
That is such a big game for the Clovers, John. If you want to get back to the top of the division, you're going to have to win that game if you're the Clovers.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still a long season for sure, but it's going to be moments like this that kind of help decide where the pieces fall as we get closer to the end of the season. Sometimes that extra game can just be massive. Now, a little rundown on your Eastern Conference standings here at the Old North State League. River City Skippers lead it with a 7-2 record. That's a pretty impressive record to see right now. Then following up is the Brunswick Surf and Turfs at second, the Clayton Clovers in third, followed by the Kinston Wingmen and the Fayetteville Shoots. Now, something that has been really interesting, the Wingmen are on a bit of a losing streak, and I'm not so sure what caused that. They were first in the division coming into last weekend when the Clovers were able to beat them at home, then go on the road and beat them. Clovers, for a brief moment there, held first in the division, but then both teams had themselves a bit of a losing streak.
It just happens in baseball, John. You get hot, and then maybe you have a bit of a slump. We see it at every level. We see it
Absolutely.
Pros, minor league, college, high school. It's just a part of baseball.
Absolutely it is. This is John Loomis and Will Dobson with you on the call today. Action is still in pause. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll keep talking all things baseball, all things league. If you got any questions for us while we're in this break, feel free to tweet at the Clayton Clovers, and we will do our best to answer your questions. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball.
Certainly appreciate
Welcome
your
back into
patience.
East Clayton Community Park here. Action still in pause, but we'll go ahead and give you a little rundown on scores across the league. So right now in Kinston Wingmen are leading the Lexington Flying Pigs 7-5. The Reedsville Luckies leading the Sanford Spinners 16-5. The Sandhills Bogies currently down to the Hendersonville Honeycrisps 5-9. Earlier in the day, the Brunswick Surf and Turfs took down the River City Skippers 7-2. The Oak City Gliders currently down to the High Point Hush Puppies 2-11. And then the Marion Swamp Foxes currently beating the Lenore Legends 9-5. Will, anything stand out to you about these scores so far?
I think the Surf and Turfs beating the Skippers is big because that keeps the division leader a little more in distance for the Clovers.
Absolutely. Seeing the Skippers take that loss in pretty dramatic fashion, too, is a little shocking, actually. But all in all, like you've said before, in baseball, kind of the fun of it sometimes is anything can happen. Players finding creative ways to stay warm right now. Playing catch along the infield. Looks like we've got two players sitting in lawn chairs just off the first base line. Don't know if you can see them. Looks like Peter Maldonado and can't quite tell yet who that is in the other lawn chair. Possibly Davey Morgan. Caleb Carey, one of those Clayton natives, talking to a few family and friends.
Well, we just hope that the umpire who's had some medical emergency is okay, John.
Absolutely. We will keep you posted on the status of the game and everything else as we continue. That's one of the things. Having a lot of hometown players on your team is something that is very enjoyable to watch because each game you get a large fan base for individual players, which I'm sure feels great. Jackson Dunlap being one of those. Clearly a very strong and supportive group here for Jackson Dunlap. Caleb Carey connecting with family and friends. And I mean, just to list off a few of these Clayton natives. Alex Levesque, Jack McIntosh, two names you'll be familiar with. Then as we continue on here, Shea DeFalco, who came in 2 nights ago, I believe it was, on Friday night, pitched himself a pretty good way to close out. It was still a loss for the Clovers, but Shea DeFalco was absolutely lighting up the strike zone. Bennett Rich, a fresh high school graduate who has gotten to play a few times here at East Clayton Community Park and on the road. Jackson Dunlap, as we've mentioned. Another fun thing is seeing different lineups from all the different teams and just how distanced a lot of these players are as far as their hometowns, whether or not they reside there now or not. It was really interesting seeing the River City Skippers, who had to start off the game, all 9 players and the pitcher were not North Carolina natives. Very fascinating to see as the Clovers have a strong showing of North Carolina natives. A few Virginia, one Texas, one Indiana, and Mike Snyder, Paxton Huff from Plano, Texas. A little fun fact for you, Will, I was actually born in Plano, Texas.
Really?
I was. So me and Paxton Huff have that in common. I have not been able to connect with him about that yet, though. So we'll go to break again real quick. When we come back, more updates on what's going on here at East Clayton Community Park and possibly more baseball talk. We'll see you then. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. In case you're just joining us here at East Clayton Community Park, a medical emergency has delayed the game so far. Hopefully the individual involved is all right. But for now, the game is delayed until further notice. We hope you'll stay with us. But for now, we are going to go back to commercial break until we have a bit more info. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Still a pause and play here at East Clayton Community Park. The individual safety, of course, is key. So the delay in game is necessary here to make sure everybody is safe. Right now, working on logistics on how the game is going to continue. But both coaches certainly looking to continue the game. We'll come back to you when we have more info as things proceed here at East Clayton Community Park. Again, John Loomis here with Will Dobson on the call. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. We've got 5 minutes until we resume.
We wish him nothing but the best.
Umpire who had a medical emergency on the field. Looks like he's going to be okay, but he is being safely transported to the hospital. Again, we hope he is all right. Safety is first and foremost important here. Got 5 minutes until the game resumes, though. We'll get back to you before then to talk about the logistics of how this game will be played out. We'll be back soon here with East Clayton Community Park. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. So we are getting set to resume here at East Clayton Community Park. Seth Bullock retakes the mound. Top of the second inning here. A little recap. Wake Forest had a home run in the first inning, and the Clovers responded back with 3 hits and 3 fielders' choices. We're resuming play here with one ump who will be calling pitches from behind the pitcher's mound. An exhibition game after all. Looks like both teams are out here to enjoy themselves and get a little practice overall.
It's definitely a first for me, John. I've never seen a ump crew with no home plate umpire.
Absolutely, but sometimes you got to make adjustments here. So now a 2-2 count here for Seth Bullock as he faces off against Alex Imposamoto. And that one's going to get hit towards the shortstop, Zach Zoltolski. He'll toss it off to Jackson Dunlap at first, and that'll be good for out number 1.
The first baseman from Wake Forest by way of Lenore Ryan, the redshirt sophomore.
So it's going to be Hogan Stallings up next, the first baseman.
A lot is on this one umpire. He has to see everything.
He's got eyes on all sides of his head. We saw him joking around before the start of the game. Seems like a very light-hearted fella. So first pitch, swing and a miss, rings in for strike 1 as that one's hit right towards Jackson Dunlap. He makes the catch for out number 2.
2 down now for the left fielder from
2
Raleigh.
up, 2 down, and the Clovers only have 1 more out to go here before they find themselves up to bat next. First pitch up high, ball number 1. Seth Bullock, except for 1 hit today, has been very effective on the mound so far. It can be hard to come back after a 30-plus minute delay and just find the strike zone again, but clearly he was taking good care of himself and his arm in that break to keep it all warm and loose.
Yeah, so far the home run really seems like an outlier.
And the wind has been blowing pretty heavily here at East Clayton Community Park. Ball certainly had a good carry to it. Weather in the area still unclear what exactly will happen as that's hit towards Zoltolski. He'll make the throw, and that is going to be 3 up, 3 down here. We're going to the bottom of the second. The Clovers up next to bat. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park here Cole Bolton steps up to the mound for his second inning of work. It's going to be the 7th, 8, 9 up for the Clovers. Again, this is an exhibition game. Have 10 batters in the lineup, which is fun to see. It's going to be Tyler Manassi, the extra hitter for tonight. Not a position you see listed all that often. Now, well, some interesting information on Tyler Manassi. His favorite band is Rush, okay? Now, he owns 12 guitars. I haven't gotten the chance to ask him yet. I would assume...
Does he have 24 arms?
Well, that's a great question. I would assume he knows how to play guitar. Would love to see him perform at some point here for the Clayton faithful. Perhaps we'll have to ask him about that.
We should have him play the national anthem.
That would be fun. That would be fun. He is due up here to bat. Also, he wants to become an orthopedic surgeon, so very clearly a smart kid as well as an athletic one.
Leading off the bottom of the second for your Clovers.
Also a big fan of these green cleats he's got going on here.
Number 10, Tyler Manassi.
Oh, yeah.
The green on green with the green compression sleeves in the legs and arms. He is almost a mascot. He just needs to Clyde the Clover head, and he can be Clyde. So again, Cole Bolton on the mound again. 3 singles and 3 fielders' choices wrapped up the Clovers' first at-bat at the bottom of the first. Oh, and he'll take a hard swing and a miss in the dirt there for strike 2. Now a 1-2 count here for Tyler Manassi. No outs on the board yet for the Clovers. And that'll also get fouled straight back.
Tyler should make his bat green.
I agree. The red bat definitely doesn't match as
Complete
much.
the look.
Now, if only the Clovers had green pants, we could really make this thing ridiculous. And that'll get away from the catcher. Nobody on base to take advantage of it, though. We're up to a 2-2 count. With this already kind of being an interesting game with exhibition, I'll be curious to see if we go the full 9 innings or if we'll kind of play to heart's content here. I think that kind of depends on weather and pacing of the game so far. Both head coaches over by the away dugout. And now Manassi works his way up to a full count. And that's going to be strike 3 as the strikeout call rings out from behind pitcher's mound. Tyler Manassi goes down. Now it's going to be left fielder Zach Lyon up next for the Clovers. He has been on and off of the outfield for Clayton. Certainly a very strong player, both offensively and defensively.
Come on, man.
Now, obviously, some controversy with whether Zach Lyons swung or not at that last pitch, but with one umpire, it's hard to see all the angles.
He's certainly doing his best from where he is. Definitely not your average baseball game here today, but an exhibition play. Really the most important thing to keep in mind for exhibition play is just to keep the safety of everyone intact. Might as well have some fun while you have the chance to play the sport you love for an extra game. Now evens up to a 2-2 count here for Zach Lyon. After that break for Clovers, not as willing to swing the bat anymore, it seems.
Well, maybe they think that with one umpire there might be a bit of an advantage to the balls as opposed to the strikes.
Even not just working with one umpire, but a long break can wear a lot on a pitcher. Could be another aspect they're thinking about. And Zach Lyon will foul tip that one into the catcher's glove. That's going to be out number 2 here
Coming to the plate
in
from
Clayton.
Vincent, by way
So
of
now
Salon,
it's
your
going to
third
be
baseman. He's the
Caleb
sophomore.
Carey, the third baseman.
Carey.
Now, if they are accounting for the pitcher being tired, pitcher's racked up 2 strikeouts in a row now. Seems to have found his footing in the break. Perhaps a little extra warm-up was all he needed to seal dot the strike zone again. If you're just joining us, a little bit of weather moving into the area. If that weather does move into the area, as far as we know, the game is set to continue. Now you may notice the scoreboard will not be as updated, but me and Will here will do our best to keep you as informed as possible if this rain moves in here.
Feeling a few sprinkles, John.
Definitely a few sprinkles, which honestly is what made me bring it up. Wanted to prepare for anything here. The reason the scoreboard will not be able to continue is it will run off of a laptop. Here at East Clayton Community Park, we have one area of cover we can move to where there is just not an opportunity to plug that in, as Caleb Carey is in pain at home plate. Looks like he fouled that one into his ankle. Staff will come out to the field now to check on Carey. Hopefully he's all right. It can be brutal when you foul those balls into your legs. That's why you see a lot of these batters wearing the ankle guards. Wake Forest players will gather on the pitcher's mound during this break.
He's back on his feet, John.
Thank goodness. It looks like he is going to be okay overall. Probably just has to walk it off. Again, taking a baseball at that speed can just be brutal. So good to see him up and walking with no ump on the mound. Clovers owner and general manager Louis DeCarolis brushes off home plate himself, taking on a few of the jobs here around the park. That's going to come up high, bring it up to a full count now. He'll foul that one off, keep it 3-2, and Caleb Carey has now engaged in a battle here.
Ooh,
And
right
that
at the
one
pitcher.
hits right at the pitcher. He'll still be able to make the play, though. That's going to be out number 3 to wrap up the second inning. We're going to the top of the third. Still a 1-1 game. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time. One of our
The rain is starting to come down a bit here at East Clayton Community Park, which means the scoreboard that you see on the broadcast will not be operable here for a bit. Not to worry, though. Me and Will be here to provide you with radio-style commentary. You will know the score, the count, everything. All you got to do is tune in here with us. So Seth Bullock back on the mound for his third inning of work.
The right fielder. He's a Methodist Monarch from Raleigh, North Carolina. Junior number 17, Austin Williams.
And Austin Williams up to bat. 8th batter in the lineup for Wake Forest.
Now Wake Forest has struggled getting to base overall. Their one run coming solely off of a single shot deep down the left line. And the first pitch will come in for a ball, 1-0 count here. And they'll take a swing at that one. It's going to bounce on Soltolski. A rare error on the shortstop there. So now a runner on first and no outs.
Raleigh, by way of Elon, freshman, number 9, Lawson Wheeler.
So now Lawson Wheeler steps up to the plate. Number 9 out of Elon. No outs on the board and a runner at first. First pitch comes in as a ball. 1-0 count here for Wheeler. He'll take a swing at that one, but it will go foul and right. Moffitt looked like he was going to attempt to make a play on it, but it was far out of reach. 1-1 count here for Wheeler. Stark difference in weather so far. Was blazing hot to start the day, and now getting a little chilly with the rain coming in.
Feels like a day in Florida, John.
Now a 2-1 count here for Wheeler. No outs on the board and a runner on first. Top of the third. That one is down low, bringing up to a 3-1 count. Wheeler's got himself a batter-friendly count here. And that one's hit up high down the right side. Moffitt scrambling to make a run on it. He is not able to make the grab. Everybody will advance. Wheeler now has runners on first and second. No outs on the board. And it's going to be Jack Boyles now who steps up to the plate. No outs on the board. Runners on first and second. Things are looking a little dangerous here for the Clovers. First one will come in for strike one, though, so an 0-1 count here. And that's going to be just a bit low. Evens it up at a 1-1 count for Seth Bullock. Bullock starting off the game very strong. I think he just needs to find his footing here to resume. And that's a hard swing and a miss there by Boyle. 1-2 count now as the Clovers look to get their first out of the inning. With runners on first and second, things can definitely seem daunting, but Clayton has been fantastic at getting some of these Houdini acts in. And now evens up at a 2-2 count. And a hard swing and a miss, and Jack Boyle strikes out here. Seth Bullock, what a way to bounce back after allowing the first two runners onto base.
We head back to the top of the order now.
The rain continues to get heavier here at East Clayton Community Park. That first one will come in for a ball. Now a 1-0 count here. We're back to the top of the order. And Aaron. That'll be on the outside again. Now a 2-0 count. He will find the strike zone on his third pitch, though, so now a 2-1 count. One out on the board. Three-one count.
Mother Nature making herself heard tonight, John.
Absolutely, but the game plays on. Runners on first and second here. One out on the board as that's fouled back. Bring it up to a full count now. For number 3 Wake Forest, Seth Bullock looking to continue his defensive ways. So now with a full count, Seth Bullock looks. And he'll catch them swinging. That is another strikeout for Seth Bullock. Now 2 in a row.
On the day for Bullock.
That is his third strikeout of the night. So
13,
after allowing runners onto first and second, racks up 2 quick strikeouts. Now all of a sudden those runners don't seem as threatening.
No, and that's really a pattern we've seen from the Clovers defense. You know, they can get themselves in a bit of a situation, but just as easily bounce back and get out of it.
Absolutely. Now a 1-0 count here for the second batter in the lineup for Wake Forest. That one's in the dirt. Bowen's got an eye on it, though. No runners will advance. The wind and the rain coming down heavy now at East Clayton Community Park, and the game continues. Luckily, our tent will zip tied to the fence, so it's not going anywhere.
Yes, but I feel for the players out there. You know, it can't be easy to play in these conditions.
Absolutely not. I can't imagine pitching in these conditions. Seth Bullock works up a 3-0 count as the wind continues to pick up here. And that'll dot the strike zone. Now a 3-1 count. 2 outs on the board here. Seth Bullock looking to save the Clovers from these initial 2 runners. That'll come in for strike 2, and Seth Bullock works up another full count. Bullock does not care about this weather. He's going to keep doing what he does. Runners are going to take off, but that's going to be fouled. Everyone's going back to where they started. So here in the top of the third, 3-2 count 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Runners take off once again. That ball is hit up high towards center field. Oh, and that catch will just barely be missed. 1 run will come home. 2 will come home.
It's a 2
Clovers
RBI double for Hardy.
find themselves now down 3-1. I think this wind is making it difficult for the outfielders to really get a track on the ball.
That and the rain.
Absolutely makes things difficult. Still 2 outs on the board. Now a runner on second. That was a double for Harding. It's going to be Badgett up next for Wake Forest. The rain's only getting harder now as Bullock will dot that in for strike number 1. So a 3-1 ball game here. Scoreboard had to be abandoned for now due to some inclement weather, but the game continues on as it's a 1-1 count for Badgett as he faces off with Seth Bullock.
These are wild conditions to be playing in.
Absolutely wild conditions indeed. I mean, the rain keeps getting heavier. The wind keeps getting harder.
I know you can play football in a hurricane, but baseball is, I've always thought of as a little more sensitive when it comes to the weather.
Absolutely. We're seeing that play out here. 2-1 count. Make it a 3-1 count now for Seth Bullock. Two outs on the board. And that one's going to get hit towards the second baseman. They'll make the play at first. That is going to wrap up this top of the third inning.
Number 3.
Clovers find themselves down 2 as we go to the bottom of the third. It's a 3-1 game. Clovers have a chance to strike back here. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. As you may notice, nobody on the field. We're expecting the tarp to come out here. The field is going to go ahead and get tarped. We are officially in a rain delay. We'll get back to you with any information we have surrounding this game. From my understanding, we're going to give it a few minutes and see how it does. After all, this is just an exhibition game. We'll get back to you here soon. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. back here at East Clayton Community Park, unable to currently update the live scoreboard as the rain has driven us away from our laptops in which we are able to do so. Currently a 3-1 game if you're listening in with us here. Wake Forest leads the Clovers as we go to the bottom of the third, but we are currently in a rain delay. Tarps on the field. We'll get back to you as we have more information. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. news here at East Clayton Community Park. The game is set to continue, but due to extreme rain and wind, we will have to bring down the camera and the broadcast as a result. We want to thank you for tuning in with us here tonight for the exhibition game with Clayton. If you're still looking for game updates, you can follow us on Twitter at Clayton Clovers, where we will continue to update you on the game there. Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is John Loomis, joined by Will Dobson. That's going to do it for us tonight. Tune in on Twitter for the remainder of this exhibition game.